right, looks like we're live on the Twitch and the Periscope. YouTube always lags behind. It's like a little race. Oh, see, live. Hold on.
Interesting.
YouTube takes a while, man. Hold on for my friends. All right, live on everywhere.
Can you be live on Facebook also?
Nah, you can't.
Why?
That's a whole story. Jen could explain it. Let's just make sure we're live here on
Jen can explain?
Jen.
Oh, Jen.
I don't think Jen can explain it. All right, live and in charge. Let's make that lower. Just make sure. All right, super chat. Let me know if you could hear us, if you could see us. My big head is blocking the Patreon sign.
No, I think you just.
So now the Patreon sign works, but they can't see it.
Huh?
Now the Patreon sign works, but they can't see it.
Okay, go. The only thing you have to do is stretch yourself out.
Turn sound up.
No.
What did I tell you? Turn the sound up. Hold on.
No, you don't need to turn it that high.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Speaking now.
5454. Oh, unmute.
Well, you don't need to unmute that because they're going to get feedback, right?
Let us know if you could hear us, if you could see us. What's up? Jen, let me know if everything's going well.
Just log into your page. All you got to do is do that.
We're logged into our page.
No, here. Jesus Christ.
We hear you. You're good.
Let's check ourselves.
So, we're going to obviously talk about the shooting that just happened. Something's going on with my phone. We were ready.
Something went wrong.
We were ready to go.
5.
We were ready at 5 o'clock. My business partner Jen sent out a wonderful email to our email subscribers. We were ready to go.
You're not even able to get on it.
Let me tell you something. First world problems. There's serious things to talk about. I'm fed up with Apple, and I'm fed up with Verizon.
Yeah, Apple is.
You know, ever since I've started this YouTube page, from my live streams turning purple. Do you know that happened?
Your live stream?
My live streams kept turning purple during it. It was like either DAPL or the CIA was.
That's a huge delay.
Yeah, I know that happens. So here we go. We have another shooting. This time at the Capital Gazette in Maryland, in Annapolis. We don't know, as far as I know, who the shooter was yet, but 5 are dead at this point. Several other wounded. We have, at this point, I believe 100 arrested at the actual Capitol. So the shooting going on at the Capital Gazette, which is a newspaper in Maryland, and then you have at least 100 people have been arrested at the Capitol, and I believe Susan Sarandon is one of them. If I was following her Twitter, let me confirm that she was arrested. Yeah, arrested. Stay strong. Keep fighting. Women disobey. So they're protesting at the Capitol to end the family detention policy with this heinous president. So Ty and I wanted to do a Q&A today, but obviously we should address what's going on as we speak before we get to the audience questions. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, we are now able to do a super chat. So if you, Jen could explain it a little more than I. Jen is in the live stream, manning the chat as always. But we now have super chat functions, so you could leave us custom amounts. You could leave us $5, $10, $15. Your support is going to get us back into the field.
Absolutely. Where
we just got back. Yes, there is a delay, and this is Ethernet.
It's a huge delay.
Yeah, huge delay.
Because I can't even get the.
Well, let's see. Hold on.
This computer.
Let's see. 1 second.
But go to the software that you have, because the software shouldn't have a delay in it.
Okay.
I just said that's a huge delay. I said that
5
minutes ago. Okay, that's perfect. All right.
It's just a delay from YouTube to the software.
Yeah. No, from the software to YouTube.
Okay.
Well, same thing.
So before we get to a Q&A, and again, click $, y'all. Give us the super chat. We appreciate your contributions. Before we get to your questions,
you always fuck this up.
As far as we know, well, it doesn't matter since we're doing it off of this. Oh, look at
interesting.
That. As far as we know, 5 people are dead, multiple wounded.
Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact, but some have reported that it was a shotgun, so at least not another AR-15 bazooka gun, but shotguns is still pretty powerful. You know about shotguns. Tell them about, I mean, you could kill a lot of people pretty quick.
You can kill a lot of people. There's different type of bullets for shotguns. So they have one 12 gauge where, you know, inside the bullet is packed with these pellets, and then the 18 gauge, kind of the same.
Don't want to interrupt you. Thank you from Sweden.
Sweden.
Gabriel from Sweden. I don't know.
See what's the
Feel the
I have
love.
one of those things.
Feel the love from Sweden.
I don't Sweden. I got an app for that.
I don't know.
I got an app for that.
I don't know what SEK 100.
That's what I said. I got an app to see what the currency exchange.
Okay.
is.
Okay. Thank you, Gabriel from
Thank
Sweden.
You. Regardless if it's a dollar, we appreciate it.
Gabriel says, "Feel the love from Sweden." Gabriel, I feel your love. Maybe we'll go to Sweden and cover something. I do like Swedish fish and Swedish chocolate. Loves. That means $10. Who needs you? Endo. And by the way, Endo, we did get your email. We are going to send you the sign. So much love to you.
And we're going to get a sign. Yesterday, I didn't know that you had already donated, but what we're going to do is we're going to use that money and get a sign. It will look the same. It'll just be real, and we'll send you that sign.
But Endo, you are going to get the original sign that was made by Jen Dyes, my business partner. That sign, long term, could be worth a lot of money. I mean, this is like the Baseball Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Babe Ruth style. That could be worth a lot of money. So you're getting a steal for $50, Endo. Sorry to interrupt. Endo.
Not to be mistaken with Aldo.
Yeah. Where do I pay? Endo, go. Jen, tell him where he should go to pay. So, what is the effects that could happen from a shotgun?
So with a shotgun, when they brought up the fact that he was using the shotgun, I was like, wow, that. Not to say, I mean, you never know what you can do, and I don't want to speculate. You never know what you can do in that what you would do in that circumstance. One of the reporters that was in the building was tweeting at the same time, and he even said that. He said, I covered these, but when you're in it, I can't even explain to you the trauma and how horrified you are in that moment, like, you know, just freezing up. So my first reaction, honestly, I was like, oh, it's a shotgun. Somebody, like, while he was reloading, someone could have rushed him, but, you know, that's me stepping outside. Being outside of it is probably a horrific event where you kind of get in that mode where you want to save, you're not even thinking of that. Mm-hmm. But a shotgun you can load from 4 to 8 rounds in there, and you know, it's a process. It's not like AR-15 or a semi-automatic. Even a semi-automatic, you always still have to squeeze it, right? But you know how they have the bump stocks, you can do it and it'll just squeeze itself. So it's not as easy to like squeeze a trigger as it is. You gotta pump like that.
And I also think that, I mean, obviously we don't know the full details.
Yeah.
It could have been he had more than one gun. Right now they say it's a shotgun. So I'm not gonna.
And it probably wasn't a pump shotgun. I'm using pump as a
right.
But they have different types of shotguns also. But it's made to not be accurate, to not like precise and hit. I mean, some of the bullets they spread out, so it can hit.
Right.
It can hit you all up in here, you know, everywhere, versus just kind of getting one spot, unless you have like an elephant bullet.
Pop Reality, $5. Thank you, Pop Reality. Will status quo cover the DNC during 2020 election? Pop Reality, let me tell you something. Status Coup is going to cover DNC corruption, Democratic Party corruption, local, state, and federal in 2018, in 2019, and 2020. You bet your bottom dollar. I'm not as interested for Status Coup.
Bet your bottom dollar.
I'm not as interested for Status Coup in covering every, there. I'm not as interested in being at every debate, at being at every convention, at being all those things, because I think there's enough coverage of those things. I'm actually interested. Oh, here we go.
What happened?
This man has done his due diligence to get this sign up. The sign is possessed. Endo, you're getting a possessed sign. we're not as interested in being at those places. I'm more interested in being out in those communities where the elections are happening.
Exactly.
The primaries. So, for example, when I was at the Young Turks in Indiana, I actually went to a trailer park and I interviewed single mothers and families that used to live in homes, but because of the financial crash, we're now relegated to trailer parks.
Yeah.
So I want to cover, in Portland, before the Oregon primary, I covered the houseless community. So we are going to cover a little bit of the debates, conventions, and try and get credentials to be in there, but we're not going to be at every single thing because, frankly, I'm not as interested in the horse race electorally. I'm interested in exposing corruption. Eman0619 says, thank you for the $10, Eman. Hey, Jordan, you finally got a super chat! Exclamation. Great timing. I just woke up from sleeping since noon yesterday. Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Since noon?
Keep up the great work. I watch every video. I cannot wait to see what happens with Status Coup. Let me give you a little preview of what's going to happen. Not to market off of this heinous shooting, but Ty and I actually were yesterday during our live stream. We were talking about that we want to go on a tour. We're going to come up with a name that's respectful. We want to go on a tour to these communities in the aftermath of these mass shootings.
Yeah.
I'm talking Nevada, where the concert shooting was less than a year ago, 58 killed. They call that the largest mass shooting in American history. I beg to differ if you follow the Civil War and what happened to the Native Americans in terms of how many people were killed.
Well, let's say,
yes. Ooh, $100. Get out there, baby.
Daniel
Vicera, $100. Look what YouTube
Get back out there.
Look what YouTube.
Right,
look what YouTube was doing. They were suppressing us for this long. The people are there for us. They just couldn't do this for so long because YouTube wouldn't monetize us.
$3.
No Ambien.
No
just
Ambien.
A 16-hour show. Maybe one day I'll tell my bad story about Ambien. Be careful with that Ambien. I was
No, he said no Ambien because I said where you are.
Okay.
He didn't take it.
Well, really, what
16 hours, dog. That's crazy. What do you do?
It's kind of I don't want to say interesting timing, but the fact that this shooting happened today is interesting. Since we were just talking yesterday, we would like to go to at least 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I was thinking that this morning when I was watching it when it came on after 15 hours of that damn Senate questioning of the FBI or whatever. But I saw it. I'm like, wow, that's interesting that we were talking about. That would be our first tour, is going to the places that had the mass shootings and seeing the victims of the families, the surviving victims.
So we'd love to know where you think we should go, but off the top of my head, I definitely want to go to Parkland. Where 17 were killed, including teachers.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to go to Santa Fe, Texas, where I believe 8 students and 2 teachers were killed a couple weeks ago. Definitely want to go. Yeah, definitely want to go to Nevada, the concert shooting. I was also.
I know a few of the. I interviewed a few of the survivors from the. It's leaving my head right now. What the children got killed at the elementary school.
Oh, Newtown.
Yeah. Newtown and Colorado. Yeah. We interviewed them, and I probably can get their information. We'll get that. But
we definitely want to go. Newtown is on that list too, and I also want to go to some. You wouldn't. I don't think a lot of people really group this with the other shootings, but Charleston. I mean,
of course.
Where a white, basically Fox News loving. White terrorists.
Why you don't think people group it with the other shootings?
I mean, with the school shootings.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't you think so?
These are school shootings. Church shootings sometimes get.
Because the church shooting in Texas.
I feel like when people talk about mass shootings, they really are talking about like the movie theater, the school, and like church. The church shootings haven't been grouped into it. I consider it
interesting.
But anyway, I want to go. I want to go to 4 or 5 communities, and why I want to do it is simple. I think that like today, for example. It's not clear if this was a gun control issue, right? He might have passed a background check. It wasn't an AR-15 like these other. As far as we know, it wasn't an AR-15. As far as we know now, it was a shotgun. So I'm not. Everything is different. But the bottom line is there is an alarming, urgent crisis, and the reason it keeps going on and is normalized is because the media normalizes by moving on. After 4 or 5 days. Let me tell you something. I don't live in Australia, but I've spoken with people from Australia. When they had mass shootings, it was covered for months until legislation was passed.
Yeah.
When we have mass shootings, I remember the Nevada concert shooting. I was like, wow, this has got to be different. I mean, this is like 58.
We're in St. Louis.
Yeah, this is like 58 people. This is going to do something. They were done covering it, I think, after 4 or 5 days. So as best as we can, which
they said something about getting back that bothered me so much about getting back to me. I'm like, Vegas is so just fucking. Right. The government just like, these casinos need to run.
We shouldn't forget of the movie theater shooting in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to go to as many places as, frankly, you could fund us. So thank you for the Super Chat donations. Thank you to those who are monthly Patreon subscribers. If you don't know, patreon.com/Jordan Sheridan Reports.
Now you know.
We just uploaded a behind-the-scenes video of what Ty was working on earlier. And we are definitely going to be going on a tour to put back in the news. Because you need to see, it's like Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
When they say the water is safe, we need to show you it's not safe.
Yeah.
But we need to show you the living victims of these shootings, the family members, the students that lived, all that.
Let me tell you one story. We were screening Making a Killing gun screening in NRA when I was working at Brave New Films. And we had the surviving victims of Colorado and Newtown. And one of the parents from Newtown was now, mind you, it was a few times that they had to just stop the film. They just couldn't watch. We had to stop, take a break, let them gather themselves, and then watch the film again. But one couple mentioned something that stuck with me to this day, and he said since his son died, nothing's normal, and it'll never be normal. And he used a great example. He said, me and my wife was driving on our way here, and we were talking about something, and something was just funny, and both of us just started laughing. And no more than 3 seconds after they started laughing, it hit them that their son was dead, and they stopped laughing. And they said that happens every day. Every time they're in a good moment, or it leaves for a second, it comes right back. It interrupts every moment of their life that their son is no longer here.
And Frank Flamingo said, did you know New Jersey had a shooting 2 or 3 weeks ago? No, I didn't.
No.
That's part of the problem. I guarantee you shootings that aren't considered like mass shootings, maybe one person dies, don't get any news coverage. It's very hard with this media environment where they are...
So mass shooting is considered formal.
Right. But I tweeted earlier today, we live in a country where the media, frankly, isn't interested.
There's mass shootings in Chicago all the time.
Right. Is not interested in being out with real people. They're interested in profits. So what do? They cover Trump all the time and Russia all the time. And some of that stuff they should cover. Yeah. But they're not covering the loss of human life, even at a lower level.
Yeah.
There was another shooting at a middle school, I believe, in Maryland that got no coverage. Nobody died right away, but then a female that was wounded died 3 days later. There was no coverage that this person died. So when you basically cover these stories just like any other story, there's an incident going on right now. CNN, MSNBC, even New York Times gives you the real-time play-by-play of who the shooter was, what gun he had, how it happened, minute to minute, and then they move on 3 days later. That's why you keep, in addition to soulless, bought-off Republicans, and frankly, some Democrats that are assisting them, the media is allowing this to be normalized.
Yeah.
Maybe the media will cover this one a little more because it hits closer to home. This gunman opened fire in an actual newsroom.
Yeah.
Marcelo Conte, thank you for the 999. Have you been watching Herman Cain? Remember his 999 plan? Herman Cain?
No.
You don't know Herman Cain? 999? In the 2012 election, he was the Godfather Pizzas guy who ran in the Republican Party.
No, what did he say?
He had a 999 tax plan.
How was it?
He was a dumb idiot. Hey, Jordan and Ty, I've been following you guys since the beginning of DAPO and have loved your work ever since. We need more people like you guys in this crazy world. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much,
I'm
Marcelo.
from Jersey. The only one who died was the shooter. Okay.
Thank you for clearing that up. Over 40,000 deaths by gun every year in the U.S.
Wait, what?
Over 40,000 deaths
40,
by guns
okay,
every year in the U.S. Came Verde. And by the way, this is a whole separate discussion. Yeah. That's not even counting suicides. I don't think that's counting suicides either.
No, it is.
It is?
It is. That statistic counts suicides. It counts accidental shootings. It counts domestic shootings. It counts mass shootings. Right. That's every town. That's every town statistic.
And Jen with the assist, my business partner, the shooting I was talking about where the student, nobody died right away, but then days later, Great Mills High School in Maryland, no coverage of this student that died because it wasn't a mass casualty. Yeah. Right?
51% of suicides are gun related. That's something a lot of people don't really cover that a lot. Like suicides, we actually cover the. If you guys haven't seen Making a Killing Guns Green the NRA, you can see it for free if you go to bravenewfilms.org. And you can request to watch it. They probably have it just accessible. But the suicide section of that is so heart-wrenching. It's such a great story, though, in the sense of a story being told. But it's heart-wrenching, and they were about to get married. He killed himself a month before they were going to get married. And she talks about if there could have just been 24 hours for a background check, maybe he would have rethought, because a lot of times when people kill themselves, it's in that moment that they're feeling that. But if somehow they can be talked or be in front of somebody and get out of that moment, maybe they can deal with it, moving forward. But a lot of times it's in that moment that they commit and do it, like literally in that moment. And if there were at least 24 hours to do a background check, somebody would have got to him before he purchased the gun and killed himself. Yeah. It's a heart-wrenching story, but a great story if you guys get a chance. Making a Killing Guns Green, the NRA. It's by Brave New Films, bravenewfilms.org. I helped work on that document.
Well, there's another issue that I don't understand. Maybe politicians have brought it up. I have never heard it. At this point, with what we're seeing in America, I think there needs to be a discussion about having a psychologist in every gun store. Oh. That is literally part of your background check is a mental health evaluation with a psychologist. I think it's the same thing at police departments. Police departments absolutely in training to become a police officer. Maybe they do, and I don't know about it. You should have a psychiatric evaluation, not just for mental health, but predisposition to racism, predisposition into gender bias, whatever it is. But I don't know at this point the mass the mass carnage we're seeing in America. Why it is that you could buy a gun without at the least having to speak with a mental health professional is beyond me.
Yeah. I don't know, Joe 777B, if the water in Buffalo, New York. Have you heard about that?
Yes. Let me read a few questions and comments. Okay. So, Jordan, when is your Flint?
I think the purpose, I don't know, but I think the purpose of Super Chat is that the Super Chats are highlighted. That's why they're donating.
Yeah, I've read every Super Chat so far. Okay. But I'm also going to read some.
You're going to read? Okay, I'll just make it because
because it's a live Q&A. So usually the purpose of a live Q&A is to answer a lot of questions. Anyway, I don't want to skip. Don't skip the people. Absolutely right. Don't skip the people. So I'm going to read the Super Chats first, but I'm going to get to some others too. Jordan, when's your Flint corruption story emerging? P.S. Are you aware I saw RT did a story? Isn't it pathetic that a foreign news network, RT, is doing more coverage on the Flint water crisis than American? I have a meeting next week. I won't say with who, but a national news outlet on what we uncovered in Flint.
It was raining.
Yeah. Jen and I knocked on at least 400 doors. Ty joined us later, like a weekend, and you probably were with us for at least 100 or so. Yeah. And I'm meeting with the national news outlet next week to show them my findings and hopefully start writing the story. So to answer your question, whether a news outlet wants to publish it or not, we will be getting this out very quickly. And by the way, I've been talking to more sources and getting more information about the corruption and the cheating that went on with the water testing in Michigan. So that story is coming out very quickly. And thank you guys for being patient because I wasn't on air for at least 2 weeks. Not that you need to see my face every day, but I wasn't on air for 2 weeks because we were on the ground reporting.
He thinks that you do need to see his face.
All right.
But I was going to say, I forgot.
I was going to say I forgot. Buckle up for the First Lady, Kim K, arriving in 2024. God forbid, Kim Kardashian. 51% of suicides are gun-related. That's yeah.
That's what I was talking about. How that doesn't even get,
Arya Stark, thank you for your question, and thank you for being a badass in Game of Thrones. Arya Stark. I will do my best.
Where do you see that?
Arya Stark. I happen to believe that Ned Stark is really alive.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think Ned Stark is the leader of the White Walkers, and that will come out in the finale. But I'll do my best.
You know what's funny though? I think everyone in the world had the same reaction. I remember season 1 Season 1. If you haven't seen season 1, then you don't need to see it.
No, but some people might want to watch Game of Thrones. You're going to give it away.
No, I just said season 1, dog. If you haven't seen season 1, I'm so sorry. When Ned Stark died, I thought it was surreal. I thought it was dreaming. I'm like, why would they kill the main character? Where is it going to go from here? It was traumatic.
Arya says,
if you haven't watched it now, I'm so sorry.
Arya says, I will do my best to get up some money so I could super chat you, but we desperately need progressive outlets covering our proportional representation referendum in British Columbia. Arya, do me a favor.
That's Canada, right?
Yes. Do me a favor. And I tell this to all viewers, but I'm not getting that many messages. Email Jordan at protonmail.com. That's email Jordan at PROTON mail.com. Send me the story, send me the information, we'll add it to our list.
Where's your charge?
Most of our stories are going to be coming from you, the viewer. So it should be over there. So 999, are you out of your mind? No, I'm not out of my mind. Joe777B, Buffalo, New York here. Is it true Buffalo's water is as bad as Flint?
No, 999, are you out of your mind? That's what the guy, he's referring to the guy that you're talking about.
I know. According to Teresa Joy, I admittedly have not been to Buffalo to cover this. According to Teresa Joy, who does reporting on our channel and is from Buffalo originally, the lead crisis in Buffalo is just as bad as Flint. And it's gotten pretty much no national media attention. Yeah,
I don't know where it goes.
It's gotten pretty much no media attention. So Teresa has done a lot of great videos on Buffalo. You could go on this YouTube channel to... You could go on this YouTube channel to playlists, and Teresa Joy has her own playlist. She has done videos on the Buffalo lead crisis. So there is definitely a lead problem in Buffalo, and there's definitely a corruption problem from what I hear in Buffalo. You should develop an app for your network, JK or JKI, that is in the works. Not right away, but eventually we are going to have an app. Endo sent the payment, so you will get the sign, Endo. Thank you very much. Let's see. All of our water is highly at risk from coast to coast. Okay, absolutely. Absolutely.
Go down here, then just do like this so that you can still see.
Okay.
You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Keep it going. All right. My name is actually Lila V. Woods. We're friends on Facebook. I'll send you a note there. I know you're ultra busy and limited ability to travel, but I can help you find a place to stay. Why, thank you, Lila. I appreciate that. Spoiled Game of Thrones for me. You see what I just said?
I have. Hey, that's your fault. You spoiled it. It's been damn near 7 years. I can't do nothing for you.
All right.
And it's only once, but I'm so sorry.
Essential says, I can't figure out how to donate more than $1.99. Jen, if you have any suggestions for him, I don't know how you donate more than $1.99, but we'll take your $1.99 too. Everything helps.
Appreciate it.
I wonder if Genesee Brewery uses Buffalo water.
I thought she was about to talk about Genesee County.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Genesee County. But keep it coming. We wanted to answer some questions too. So if you have some questions on what we plan on reporting on, the future as far as when we're launching Status Coup, if you have some questions about my doctor's appointment today, I had a very big doctor's appointment. I found out some information. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. And please let me know what you think about my hair. Do you think my Jufro is getting out of control?
Definitely,
or do you think I should grow it out just for the summer? Because this is getting a little froey.
Well, that would be stupid to grow it out for the summer.
This is getting a little froey, if you ask me, and a little out of control. All right. Are you a Guinness guy, Ty?
No, not at all.
Guinness is a little heavy at our age.
It's
your age,
dark.
particularly.
No, I'm young looking.
Yeah.
Nah, not at all, brother. If I drink beer, it's Michelob Ultra because it has no carbs in it, and I don't have to worry about gaining weight because I'm trying to. When you get over, 30, things start to sit on you, weight. So you have to be careful. So I'm not really a big beer person anyway. I would rather have like bourbon or vodka, something like that.
Stephen Shields asks, have you both heard of Richard Wolff? Please watch his lectures.
Beard.
Grow a Muslim beard. Why can't I grow a Jewish beard? Have you both heard of Richard Wolff? Please watch his lectures. Yes, I have heard of him. I've watched his lectures. I love his economic theories. I think the Democratic Party could learn a lot. Let's see. That hair probably pulls heat off your head. That's a good point. Jordan, let that shite grow. All right, I'll keep it going. I hate beer. Only drink hard liquor. Jordan, can you do a video about how Big Pharma is suppressing cures? I could do a whole friggin'...
We can start it off with the skit from Chris Rock.
Yep.
It says, ain't no money in the cure.
That's right.
Right?
Jordan, shave your head like Ty. You'll look like twins. Should I shave my head?
Nah, you can't. I mean, you can shave it, but you can't get this look. That's rough.
Ty runs 15 miles, Jen just said.
Who was that? That was a statement.
Yeah. Jordan, grow it. It's sexy. All right, I'll bring it back. Oh, yeah, Richard Wolff is good stuff. Maybe I'll interview Richard Wolff. I don't have his contact. Send me a message, Arya. Email jordan@protonmail.com. Shad Ara says the water problems on the Navajo Nation would be a good thing to report on. The U.S. government has destroyed their water with uranium contamination. Interesting you say that, Shad Ara, because one of the things I was talking to you about is doing a bit of a Native American reservations tour.
Yeah,
that's a little more difficult than other stories / tours because obviously with reservations and tribes, understandably so, they're very specific about what you can shoot and what you can't shoot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Standing Rock, there was a lot that we couldn't shoot because, prayer,
I remember that.
Sacred ceremonies, which I understand.
Sure. They wouldn't even they wouldn't let me shoot the buffalo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a white guy. I don't know a lot of what they do. But we are interested in going to several reservations, covering not only the water issues, poverty, the racial things they deal with from surrounding communities. Yeah. There's an epidemic of Native women being kidnapped, which has got very little coverage. So we're on it. Frank Flamingo, $20. I'm with you, Frank. He asked you a question.
Yeah. No. I was. I was a part of that. This just happened. So, yeah. No, I was with them until about a week and a half ago. Yeah.
So, their stupidity is my joy, actually.
You talking about?
Well, what did they say? Church. One man's error?
No. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's right. So I won't get into.
I wouldn't go that far. It was circumstantial. I don't know what you. It's hard to even really be upset. It kind of happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I won't comment on them, but I'm glad Ty's with me.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about Ty, and we should be honest. You and I were talking for a few months about trying to
of course. Yeah.
Trying to. It was
Well, what's funny is remember we talked. And the plan was actually to come in June. It kind of happened that way without our.
Because you and me were like, it's like that, like a romance that's growing, and then all of a sudden your father says you have to stop seeing that person, and it's like forbidden love. So you and me had a good thing going on the road, and then circumstances happened, so we got torn apart, but we missed each other, and fate has brought us back together.
Talk that's HIT.
Yeah, he doesn't sleep with me in the bed, actually. So
circumstances has allowed me to sleep on the couch now that he has one.
Yeah.
Before you were in the
studio.
It was in the studio.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sleeping on that. You had that little small too. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty secure with myself to be able to sleep with another man in bed.
But Frank, without getting into...
But head to toe, though.
Yeah.
Head to toe.
Frank, thank you for your contribution. And all I'll say on that, I'm glad that Ty became available because I've worked with a lot of camera people. Some were our staff. Some were freelancers. Everyone has their different style. But I think from what I've seen, Ty has a very good eye for the right shot, but also the right story. You know, some camera people are kind of just there, very stationary, and kind of do the, you know, the bare minimum. But, you know, especially in St. Louis, like you got up in their grill.
Yeah.
So you need cameramen that are going to be just, or women that are going to be just as aggressive as a journalist.
Photojournalist.
A photojournalist, yes. Ty
You
is
need
a
photojournalist as a plural, both sex,
yes,
like neutral, gender neutral type of term.
But Frank, thank you for your contribution.
Word. Thank you.
I thought it was Charles Barkley's son, somebody said about you.
You know what? I can't, there's nothing I can argue. I can't even argue that fact. I've been hearing it my entire life. I, you know, personally feel that I look way. He's not, though. He's like not. I mean, you can like him. I don't think he's a bad person, but he's not good looking. I'm good looking. I don't want to say, I think I'm universally good looking. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, obviously, but universally, you can go anywhere and look at me and be like, oh, he's attractive.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Shada Ra says, on the Navajo Nation, there is a woman everyone calls the water lady. You should spend the day with her. She hauls water to the people. Wow. So they will at least have to survive. Well, at least has water survive. Hey, Shad, can you email me more information on that? As I always say, a lot of our story ideas actually come from the viewer. It's not. I'm not giving you lip service. A lot of our stories are going to come from you. Yeah. Email Jordan at protonmail.com. He's not Kim. They love each other. Haha. But then they'd report on Trump.
Wait, who's not Kim?
Hey, he's not Kim. I don't know.
Someone must have said you were Kim. Oh, or am I Kim?
I don't know.
Ty is Jordan's cup of tea.
But then they'd report on Trump all the time on the main channel. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, we don't need to worry.
This is not a TYT Q&A. This is a JT. JNT.
Well, it could be JY, no, TY, no. TYJ.
No,
Ty
JYT.
Does it matter? Really?
We should say we have an idea.
Well, no, TYJ because it's Ty and J. So
we do have an idea for a podcast. We do have an idea for a podcast. Gefilte fish and fried chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a mix of politics, social justice, pop culture, love, and everything in between. It's going to be great. Arya, I'm happy Ty is with you now, though. Thank you very much. And Ty already started editing some stuff today that we did in Flint, so that's going to be coming up soon. And Ty's also going to be doing some on-camera stuff when he's not with me. What do you want to talk about and cover when you're not with me, and when you put signs up correctly?
Interesting. I think what I want to do is dive into the mass shooting and just give some statistics. Reach out to some people and just try to. I kind of want to do like for our audience, kind of what the movie did, where you touch on the statistics in different cases where a gun was used to kill someone, like mass shootings, domestic violence, accidental deaths, suicides, and where in some states where the NRA fought against certain laws and they didn't pass, like in Washington, they fought against gun owners putting their guns in, locking their guns up in a safe box. The NRA fought against that in Washington State. They was calling it on the NRA has a legislation page on the internet. It's NRA. It's their legislative page, but they were going against this thing this legislation that was drafted. And they were calling it, because they wanted to make sure if you own a gun, you need to lock it up so the kids won't get it. And so they called it the burglar assistance law, where they're making me lock my gun up. So if a burglar comes into my house, I won't have time to get my gun. And so that was the propaganda they used, and they actually beat it. The law didn't get passed, and 4 months after it didn't get passed, Eddie, I can't think of the kid's last name, was killed accidentally by his friend's father's gun because they got it and was playing with it.
Jeez.
Irony. And that's kind of like, thinking about us doing that on our next go round would be kind of a good place to get people just get the conversation going. And, that's kind of a little knowledge that I have since I helped, I was an associate producer on that.
Yeah. MacArthur, that's a good idea. Ty, you should do a video on universal basic income and how it can end poverty.
10 cities in LA. That's something interesting. Yeah, that's just a lot. It's a lot. I see them all the time. I'm so used to it. It's weird. But yeah, you're starting to see them more in more places than just Skid Row.
I actually, on the universal basic income, I know a pair of documentary filmmakers that actually went out as part of their project. They got funding where they gave a set amount.
Universal basic income.
Yeah, I think it was $2,000 a month. They were able to get funding for to give to, I don't know, I think it was like 10 to 15 families.
Who brought that up? Someone that was just running
for
government?
When we were at Josh Fox's house for the Labor Day, you remember Dara and that guy, I think her husband, they were doing a documentary on universal basic income.
Oh.
So I know some documentary filmmakers that are focusing on universal income, and I could
there was a candidate that was running for either governor of California or he's running for president. Yeah, he's actually running for president in 2020, an Asian guy. And no, he's talking about universal basic income.
Right.
Yeah.
The other question was about the 10 cities. We definitely going to be covering some of the homeless communities. Yeah. Seattle homelessness is out of control. Portland has a big homelessness problem. San Francisco has 10 cities. Yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. Yeah. By the way, part of what we're trying to do, and obviously we need funding for it, is to hire other reporters, because what we're talking about is going to take more than just Ty and I. Yeah. But I definitely wanted to do a tour focusing on gentrification, the most gentrified cities in America, because the gentrification issue ties with homelessness, ties with poverty, ties with the drug abuse that we're seeing, the heroin epidemic. All of this gentrification is a fancy term for pushing poor people out. And what happens with those poor people? They go into more poverty, deeper despair. There's drug problems, crime problems, higher death rates.
Think about this. Think about moving somewhere all of a sudden. And I can probably equate it to like how I've been feeling, right? Like all of a sudden you're shifted from what you're used to some strange place that you're not really used to. Like what that does to your psyche and how that can mess you up emotionally. You got people that really, in Watts in LA, they're doing that. They're pushing people out and they're moving them to like Victorville, which is maybe an hour and a half, almost 2 hours outside of northeast of Los Angeles.
Right.
And these people have been in Watts generations.
And this is true. Paul says, some of us are so sick now we can't work at all, barely. Let me tell you something, Paul, not just in Flint, but in all the places I've been, I'm really shocked at the amount of people that I have met that are so sick related to how many jobs they had to work. Mm. I have met so many people that cannot work because they have worked so much.
Yeah.
People that had full-time jobs, but let's say their jobs were sold to Mexico or China. So they started working 2 to 3 jobs. In some cases, I've talked to people that literally worked 4 to 5 jobs, and they got sick from stress, workload, undernourishment, you name it. Endo, I want to see more of Teresa Joy. That is the plan, Endo. Endo wants a lot. He wants a sign. He wants Teresa Joy.
Endo's a part of the company. We got you covered, player.
Ty, we could end homelessness in America if we have universal basic income and quality health care. Well, MacArthur, I will say one thing. Part of what helps make those things happen is electing more people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and more people like her running. Yeah. You're not going to get universal anything with Donald Trump as president. Frankly, you're not getting universal basic income with, let's say, Cory Booker or Kirsten Gillibrand or Joe Biden. You need progressive leadership in Congress, in the White House, and at the state level. So I'm sorry to say, I don't think universal basic income is coming anytime soon. That's just the reality. But if the progressive momentum that we're seeing from the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world, Ben Jealous just won the primary there. I think he's going to be competitive in the general election in Maryland. There are Democratic Socialists of America members that have won local elections in recent months. We are now seeing more and more progressive victories, like superdelegates are being diminished. That just came out the other day. The DNC voted to roll back a lot of superdelegates for 2020. So there is change coming, but I would love to see more on universal basic income, but we'll cover that as well.
Carne Verde, let me tell you, I did a documentary in San Francisco.
You're not doing a good job of actually reading what they're saying.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, my bad. So I live in San Francisco. I could talk to you all day about the homelessness and how gentrification happens and support tenant-friendly, rent-controlled society. So when I was doing a documentary on bail reform in California, like the money bail system and the criminal justice, we were in shoot. What's that pimp's name?
I don't know. With an F. I don't know any pimps.
I know it's this book I read, but he's from San Francisco. Fillmore. We was in Fillmore. And literally, the guy that was taking me around told me. So we were in Fillmore Park, and I were interviewing some people that had been to jail and had lost their homes and stuff because they couldn't pay the bail, and they didn't even get convicted of the crime. And I was in this, like I was in the hood, and we was in this park. They were shooting dice, chilling, doing whatever. And I look across the street, and I see these white kids in khaki shorts and boat shoes. And it was just so bizarre to me. I'm like, what the fuck? They was like, yeah. It's like all those apartments, they used to be public housing, and they moved everyone out and started moving the college kids in. That's why you see that stark contrast from across the street. It was so bizarre. And you just saw gentrification like happening. So I completely understand Carne, what's her name? Yeah. Carne Verde. And I think you're absolutely right.
Let's get to Marcelo with the $4.99. You think if Bernie ran with the Green Party in 2020, our country would have a chance of turning this mess around? I completely lost faith in the Dems. I think if Bernie runs with the Marshmallow Party in 2020, Bernie Sanders will win. I firmly believe Bernie Sanders has developed a coalition among millennials, even older people. I think Bernie Sanders has made inroads actually with conservatives. We've seen him after 2016 go to Mississippi, go to these southern states, go into red states, and he has sold out crowds in red states. I think Bernie Sanders would win the Democratic primary, and I think Bernie Sanders can defeat Donald Trump as a Green Party candidate, as an independent, or as a marshmallow. That is what I believe. I hope he runs. I'm a journalist, but I keep it real. I'm pro Bernie. I think he needs to come around on abolishing ICE. I don't agree with him on dodging that. He's been interviewed a couple of times recently, and he won't give a straight answer on that. But I also think Bernie Sanders has... I think Bernie Sanders has also, from what I see, made inroads with the African-American community, too, since 2016.
Yeah, definitely.
The Hillary Clinton crowd made it seem like he doesn't understand African-American issues. I don't think it's that he didn't understand. I think, unlike Hillary Clinton, he wasn't planning to be president for 10 to 15 years, so he didn't go down to those communities to talk to the churches and make inroads with the pastors and things like that. I think his policies would help all people, but especially black and brown people, particularly in communities when you're talking $15 minimum wage, when you're talking about free public college tuition. That could lift a lot of people up in Harlem, in Flint, those kinds of places. Let's see. Frank, $10.
Do you think Democrats should fight for a Supreme Court seat? Mitch the Turtle said it can't be done in an election year. Well, it's an election year. Well, it said it couldn't be done in an election year. Well, it's an election year.
Well, Frank, first of all, wait a minute. Frank, how dare you call him a turtle? I say he's a turkey. That neck, Mitch McConnell's neck looks like a turkey. That is the most vile.
His neck looked like it's like, oh, man, I'm on my way out. It's like barely holding on. Like, oh, hold on.
What do you think about that before I get into it?
Well, I would say that,
what he's basically asking is...
he said that. I know.
What he's asking is, should the Democrats try and block them to appoint another Supreme Court justice before the midterms?
I think they should, but how can they? Because, you can't filibuster. They changed that law. They don't have control. So, before they even... If it was possible for them to gain control in November, they're trying to get this done before November anyway. So... It's a weird position. Mitch McConnell, he did say that, but at the same time, Barack Obama put a Supreme Court in during the midterms also.
Well, I think what the Republicans did actually with Merrick Garland was they didn't even allow it to come up for a vote.
Yeah.
There was some parliamentary techniques that
but you have to have control to do that, though.
Right.
So the question is...
The Republicans had... Yeah, the Republicans
had control. Yeah, they had control. That's what I'm saying. So the question is, will or should... I mean, you can fight, but to what end if you don't have control? If you just talk, and they're going to do that anyway.
Right. And you know what? A lot of people said to me when I was at the Young Turks, I did a live debate with John Idarola as part of, the Young Turks had that series on fusion. Mm-hmm. So one of the debates we did was, Hillary or Trump. And I have never, ever advocated for voting for Trump.
You were against... No. And John were...
It was like John was on the hold your nose and vote for Hillary. And I was on the I'm not going to vote for Hillary. But I never advocated voting for Trump. So let's put that aside. I said, personally for me, I lived in New York and I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I couldn't bring myself to do it. But one person asked me what was my biggest fear with it.
Yeah.
Said the only fear I had with not voting for Hillary was the Supreme Court. Yeah. Because at the very least, she wasn't going to put in, Islamophobic, totally right-wing extremists. Yeah. But we need to remember with the Supreme Court, folks, there are times when even a conservative judge votes with the liberals. Yeah. There are times when the liberal judges votes with the Republicans. Chief Justice John Roberts stunned the nation when he was the deciding vote to rule Obamacare constitutional. Mm-hmm. Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor just voted with the conservatives on something that a lot of people were surprised with. Mm-hmm. Anthony Kennedy was the swing vote, but sometimes, whether it's Chief Justice John Roberts or the left, they have been known to surprise you. So I do think it's a bad thing that Kennedy is retiring. I do think it gives Trump the opportunity to put in a very, very extreme right candidate. But I also think there's a good chance that Trump is not going to win re-election, in my view. Yeah. I think that Trump is playing to his base in Fox News. But if you think the suppression in votes that we saw in 2016, 5% less African Americans came out, 6% less Latinos came out, and I believe 6% less ages 18 to 29 came out. I do not think you're going to have that problem if you actually have a decent Democratic candidate. Yeah. So I am worried about the Supreme Court. However, I do think there's hope for a Democrat beating Trump if he's a progressive, he or she is a progressive. And I do think look, the bottom line is a lot of those Republicans are old too. A lot of those Republicans are not spring chickens. Some of those Republicans, other than Kennedy, might retire even if there is a Democratic president. I don't know what the hell Clarence Thomas is doing on the Supreme Court still. He barely talks. That's not a black thing. That's a Clarence Thomas thing, because I knew you were looking at me. That's his inner racism coming out.
No, but remember how Louis C.K. like your racism is very subtle. It's like
MacArthur Jordan, run for Congress. You're the only Jew I would vote for. Don't put that thought in my mind, MacArthur. Should I run for Congress?
Yeah, I don't even know how that sounds. Though you're the only Jew I would vote for.
Yeah, that's kind of anti-Semitic, actually.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't want to say that, but it just sounds weird. The only one, though?
Nah, there's a couple of the Jews I would recommend to vote for. Before we wrap up, thank you to everybody who has been doing the Super Chat. Obviously, when Ty leaves, I'm going to be going live as much as I can. So your contributions are actually going to help Ty and I go back on the road. You're going to help pay for, if we need extra equipment, going to help pay for, flights, cars, Airbnb, whatever. So thank you guys for contributing through Super Chat, contributing through Patreon, patreon.com/Jordan Sheridan Reports. And I think almost 160 people have contributed funds through jordansheridan.com/sponsor. Yeah. So thank you guys. Ty and I believe right now it's looking like we will be back on the road in the beginning of July. Clarence Thomas needs a good. No. Do you mean the RBG, the Crypt Keeper? I'm praying for notorious Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ty and I should be back on the road.
Frank, good seeing you too, bro.
Jai and I will be back on the road, I believe, beginning of July. We are probably going to be on the road most of July, and we are going to be covering a lot of things. Right now, we have some ideas. But if you send us more ideas, email Jordan at protonmail.com.
Carne Verde, thank you again.
Some people have been
Carne,
leaving. Carne.
Yeah.
We got.
That's at least like $20-something.
Thank you, Carne, for your faith in us.
You.
And by the way, for the people that haven't contributed today, that's fine. We know that a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, so we still love you anyway. Even if you can't financially contribute, even if you can't financially contribute, you can
share it.
You can share this. And by the way, let YouTube know. Let YouTube know that they're not sending you notifications.
Yeah.
Let YouTube know that you don't appreciate them unsubscribing you from channels. It's not just me. They're doing this to Jimmy Dore. They're doing this to Jamal Thomas.
So I think
Kyle Kalinske, all those people.
Jen is giving them shouts out on Twitter if they super chat.
Yes, Jen, my business partner, is giving you guys shout outs on the Twitter. And if you want, leave your Twitter handle too after you leave a super chat.
Or are you giving them shout outs?
Jen is giving them super shout outs on my Twitter. So thank you. And Marcelo, $1.99, do the podcast, they say. Do the podcast.
Gefilte fish and fried chicken.
Gefilte fish and fried chicken.
Gefilte fish and fried chicken.
I like it. So thank you guys for watching. Ty's headed back to LA tomorrow. I will be back at it. We will have an update on the Flint story that we've been working on. Ty's finishing a video now. We're going to put that up as soon as possible. And then we're going to get back on the road. We definitely mean it when we say it. Send us your story ideas. What's going on in your community. Email jordan@protonmail.com. Yeah. And remember, folks, what we're trying to do here, we're going to launch this bad boy soon. Status Coup. We are much closer than previously thought to launching Status Coup.
He couldn't wait to do that shit.
Because we do need a coup d'etat, a journalistic coup d'etat of
coup d'etat,
the status quo. Peace out.
Peace, love is everything. Love is love.